Whether this is going to upload before the new year or after the new year, but to all my viewers, from me and my family, and there's Effie, we wish you all Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
Hello and welcome back to another Show on the Buffalo video. Hope you've all been well. And today we are doing another video in our budget series that we had up in my YouTube channel, which basically covers decks that are as cheap as possible that still have a viable competitive ability to them, and you can still get your way through the meta or attempt to win a lot of meta games with decks that effectively cost minimal amounts of money. Minimal amounts of money in real life, that is. So today we are looking at Inteleon VMAX, and I've dubbed this Tempo Inteleon because it's all about building up an active Inteleon whilst building up a benched Inteleon whilst doing a lot of energy denial with the active one that has the attack Hydro Snipe, which for 1 energy puts an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon into their hand. Now that, coupled with Crushing Hammer at 4 and a couple of Team Yell Grunts as well, and a Giratina has Dimension Breach, which can also remove a special energy, can provide for some really disruptive plays. And then obviously when you've built up the benched Inteleon, you can then start to swing with Max Bullet, which does 160 and 60 to the bench. So it's 220 damage for 3 energy, as opposed to the 270 for 2 energy that Eternatus can do, but it has a lot more tricks to it, with the fact that dealing bench damage allows you to set up multiple KOs at once. So that's what's good about this card, and obviously the Hydro Snipe. A lot of this is just consistency cards, but we do have a 2/2 of the non-GX, or non-V, sorry, prize card version, the 1 prize card version of Inteleon. So that's this one with Shady Dealings that once per turn, when you evolve this card, you can search up to 2 trainer cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. And then the Drizzile, which basically does the same, but that only searches you 1 trainer card from your deck. So it allows you to grab your Crushing Hammers, your Team Yell Grunts, and the such like, or even additional scoop up nets that you may need for Giratina, or Evolution Incense to find the Inteleon VMAX, Marnie's to disrupt your opponent's hand, Switch to get out of Jirachis and things to make sure that you can still definitely attack. So that is sort of the basis of this deck, and yeah, it's basically all consistency cards that you mainly use. So 4 Pokecom, 4 Quick Ball, and triple Evolution Incense, because obviously these can get you Evolution Incense can get you these, or these can get you Evolution Incense to find the next one, or the VMAX. So it is just a very tempo deck. It's no really large forms of aggression or anything. It's more disruptive power and things like that. So I will get into some games and I will be right back. So we are back with our first game of our Tempo Inteleon VMAX deck, and we start with a Jirachi, which is the best of starts. My opponent is going first as well, so that does allow us to use turn 1 Marnie and then Stellar Wish and attempt to set up our board just a little bit. You see a Jirachi in the opponent's active as well. Hopefully we won't have to try too hard to knock these out, since they are weak to us. And we may even find some advantage in building up a basic version of Inteleon to do some damage here, there, and everywhere. So we are just going to straight up Marnie. And we'll drop this guy. We will not need to be using the weakness card energy. And we don't really have much going for next turn, so I think it's just a case of Professor's research. Attach an energy here and pass. Probably see a Dead Day change here for my opponent, which we do, and he is down his one copy of Boss's Orders, so unless he uses Mewtwo to get that back, he won't be getting that back. So we are not under any threat from the single copy of Boss's Orders that these Persephone decks do tend to play. That being said, there is always the possibility that he could play 2 Boss's Orders. Or there's always the possibility of the Mewtwo as well. So we do see the Welder onto here. So if he takes Knockout here, he's going to lose a total of 4 energy just for 1 prize, because which he doesn't do, obviously. So we don't really realistically want to be taking Knockout until we can Marnie my opponent. That was a bit of a misplay. So we are unfortunately just going to have to lose 2 scoop up nets, because we don't want to give my opponent the ability to do a whole ton. We would need a scoop up net for this, and a switch for this, and some other stuff to be able to pull off a Boss's Orders onto this, plus a whole bunch of energy. So we will simply Pokecom this back in for another Sobble, I'm pretty sure, since we have a Drizzile in hand. And we also have the Evolution Incense in hand as well. And we'll just pass. So until my opponent makes the first move, because this is a tempo deck, so therefore in the same sense you could also say it's a reactive deck, we do want to be reacting to my opponent's knockouts as opposed to taking the initiative. And it does, yeah, simply play the boss on this. So this is fine, because now we get to Marnie. He has 2 Jiraxis to work with, but we're going to evolve this. Yes. Grab a Marnie. We will evolve this. And we do have our 2 copies of the Inteleon in the deck as well. So we're just looking at this point to think through another card. And I think I'll use Quick Ball to get ourselves another Jirachi down. So we will get the Jirachi. And we will Marnie. And we do indeed find ourselves another attachment for this, which is very good. And we do find another Inteleon as well, which is also very good. And we just click done because we, of course, do not want to give our opponent the extra fire in hand. So, for whatever reason, okay. We are just going to Hydro Snipe this, I'm pretty sure. Oh, and my opponent just scooped, so I think it's due to the fact that he didn't find up his F1 that turn, didn't take a knockout. That match was about 50-50, but obviously he just gave it up as a bad joke because he knew that obviously I was playing reactive, which is exactly how you should play a tempo deck. Anyway, we will be back for game 2. So, back again for another game with Inteleon VMAX, and you would think that you'd want to go first in these decks, but you just don't, because you have a set up attack of sorts, and because every deck that's detrimental to this deck wants to go second as well, it is literally just better to go second with this deck. The fact that we also have Crushing Hammer as a reactive card does allow us, does make more sense to go second in this deck, and because it is a bit more of a setup deck, we do need access to supporters, which we clearly do not have here. So we're going to keep the Sobble in the active position, because if my opponent does play a special energy, we do still have Giratina. And we see a Reshiram and Charizard, so another fire deck. And I don't think this deck does play any special energy, so I don't particularly see a need to keep the Giratina around. So I will be quick balling away the Giratina for a Jirachi, scooping up the Sobble and promoting the Jirachi, putting the Sobble back down with the Inteleon V. And with any luck, Jirachi will find us a supporter. And we're against the Tempo Charizard deck, so definitely won't be needing Giratina. This deck doesn't play any special energy, I am very certain of that. So we'll be using switch into Jirachi. For a scoop up net, I'd want to say. This could be very greedy. So we'll scoop up net. Put this down, put this down. Scoop up net. This. Go for another Jirachi. Jirachi again. Do find a Marnie, which is very good. Because it does allow us to keep some resources around, which is exactly what we want in this matchup. And we find everything we could want or need with this following hand, which is very good, and we will simply just pass there. So, next turn we will be starting with Stellar Wish, which isn't always the case sometimes, but next turn we will be starting with Stellar Wish to see if we can find ourselves a supporter. Because if we do find ourselves a supporter, we can use Evolution Incense to find our Inteleon VMAX and not have to use Evolution Incense for Drizzile, which will be much more beneficial for us. He has already lost his Zigzagoon, which I feel may be a bad play. If you can hear any crying in the background, it's my little daughter that me and the partner brought into the world in mid-November, who you'll have seen at the start of this video. Cry she may do, as any baby does, but our absolute treasure she certainly is. So if I do seem distracted from time to time in my videos from here on out, that'll be the reason why, that a portion of my brain is now entirely dedicated to a separate life form, as it were. And another concession for my opponent. Two tempo decks going against each other. If one of them's weak to the other, it is effectively an auto loss, but we'll get through to game 3 and we'll see how we do. So we are back for game 3, of our Inteleon VMAX deck, and considering how little amount of energy we play, this is kind of, well, very much disappointing. So, we are against ADP, and that is where this deck tends to shine against, because turn after turn we tend to be able to stop the ultimate ray, and it's the ultimate ray that makes ADP so despicable. There's nothing else about ADP that really makes this deck particularly strong, makes me worry. So we are going to have the Stellar Wish to find ourselves a Marnie, because we simply cannot research away all those energies. So showing in our hands we may do, but losing those energies we cannot. And I'm going to quick ball away the switch here, which may seem like a strange move, only that we have so many of them, so I'm not too fussed. And I don't want to quick ball away the Giratina in case they play a 2-1 split of the water energy and aurora energy, because a lot of decks do play sort of like a combo list that includes things like Tag Call to acquire the ADPs to hand, and to get things like Cynthia Caitlyn, Goose Mahala grabs you the aurora energy. So having the Giratina on point until we see a second water energy is absolutely fine. And it also means we get to keep it in hand for potential Pokemon communication out, because if we end up with a dead hand, or if we do not Stellar Wish into a supporter with Jirachi, but we find ourselves Pokemon communication, it does mean we can flip the Giratina back into the deck, acquire the Drizzile. The Drizzile will acquire us a Professor's Research, and we can carry on with the game. So, you may have heard this from some of the best players, but just because you have a card doesn't mean you should use it. And we do find ourselves another Sobble as our top deck, which is very good, allows us to continuously stream. And we do find the Research. It does allow us to continuously stream getting trainer cards to our hands, like the Crushing Hammer, like the Yell Grunts, and the rest of it, so very, very good. We do not find a water energy to attack with this turn, which is quite frustrating, but nevertheless, I think we're just going to hold the hand here, because the hand is good, but also I don't mind getting another Jirachi into play, or potentially even another Inteleon. Another Inteleon would be good, because we would realistically want to make one attachment to this and then continue to power up the one that already has the weakness guard energy on. So these things are fine. And if we can find a Pokeball, not a Pokeball, a Quick Ball, we can Quick Ball away a single copy of Switch, get ourselves any basic, Pokecomet back for a Drizzile, switch into the Inteleon VMAX, and away we go, with the Hydro Snipes further preventing the altered creation. Now, I don't know what my opponent's doing here. I'm not sure if his hand is just entirely dead, or is deciding whether or not he wants to play a Professor's Research. He may have a hand of Professor's Research and like 9 metal sources or whatever. That could be the case entirely. That's why I'm not going to Marnie my opponent. It does seem like he's AFK, but we shall see. And just in case, do you know, I'd rather him have a small hand anyway. So we will skip up net this for this. Pokecom this away for the other VMAX, if it's in deck, which it is. Evolve here, and simply Marnie. And we start finding energy, which is exactly what we want. It's a shame that we're losing a single copy of Inteleon here, or will be next turn, unless my opponent does Marnie me. But I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Considering I've Marnied my opponent now, and he's still taking a long time to do things, he may have rage quit due to the fact that I crush and hammered his water energy off. Because a lot of these decks at the moment are playing the Battle Arena deck, because a lot of people will have been given it for Christmas. Now, with that being the case, we have a bunch of new players, that are using that deck, and it only has one water energy in, which is terrible news. I don't know why that deck only has one water energy in, and then obviously newer players would attach that water energy naturally if they see it, thinking, oh, they're never going to see it again, but also not thinking about the detriment of, oh, if it gets crushed and hammered, then we can no longer alter creation. So it's just one of those things. Anyway, we'll be back for another game. So we are back for another game, and once again, for those of you that watched the intro to the video, Happy New Year. And I'm telling you, this JD is going straight to my head. But play away we must, as it is the last video of 2020, and hopefully we'll find ourselves in a much better year next year. Although the state of things doesn't seem to be changing very much, so doesn't seem entirely likely, but we'll see what happens, eh? So we're against a Torkoal deck. This is an energy denial deck, very much like my own. And we will start with Quick Ball here for Jirachi, and switch into it. We will Quick Ball away the switch for the Inteleon with an attachment, and we will Stellar Wish for a Scoop Up Net, I think. Yeah, that's probably the best idea. Yeah, we'll just grab Scoop Up Net for next turn. Because Torkoal should be a deck where we would only ever have two Inteleons in play. So once he's taken the initial knockout with Jirachi, we will effectively only ever be Hydro Sniping. So as you can see, as I explained, this deck is also an energy denial deck, very much like mine. And we do just see a Welder for one, so my Jirachi is safe this turn, which is brilliant for us. And because he's attached to the active, we are certainly going to be using Hydro Snipe on this. Now, the Giratina does allow us to get rid of this, but of course he switches because he doesn't want it to be damaged, but Hydro Snipe does allow us to damage it anyway. So we find a Drizzile for our top deck. We do have a Crushing Hammer, which we are going to take. The more Crushing Hammers we see, the better. And we would like very much to get rid of that. And we will Scoop Up Net here. Promote this. And Marnie. Now, questions upon questions are, I think we simply just Crush and Hammer, but it doesn't hit, of course. So now we need to quick boil away this for a Sobble and simply snipe shot. I think doing it to the active is the best in this case. As much as I'd love to damage this one, it's highs on the bench obviously, that was my opponent's intention, but at the same time we do double damage to the active, but only to the active. So another crushing hammer for my opponent, which is fine, but we don't see a welder for my opponent, which is also fine by me. So next turn we get to scoop up net the Zigzagoon and Pokecomet back for a Drizzile, which will find us a Professor's Research, and we can carry on our merry little journey. Our opponent here, to attack us and accomplish much, would need to find a switch and a welder. Doesn't seem like he's found either just yet, because if he'd found either, you would essentially want to welder first and then put Fire Energy back on top of the deck to inflict the most amount of damage with Combustion Pillar. And that information right there is a fine example of what will make many of you eventually, if you watch many more of my games, be good at this game. And to be good at this game, what you need to do is not only know your own deck, but plenty of practice will allow you to know the opponent's deck that you're against. Knowing your opponent's deck is the most vital part of playing Pokemon, because knowing what they've got in store for you, or can have in store for you, is part of what it takes to be a good player in this game. So we will take a trainer card, and we will take a research, because it does say trainer card. And then also setting up our hand allows us potentially to find a lot more things, as you can see here. So we unfortunately do not find another energy. I don't know how this happens, but it does happen from time to time. So I'm just wondering, I think the best play is to put this back and set up yet another Inteleon, because we will be using two. And next time I search the deck, I am going to have to check my energy count, because it seems like we have prized a lot. Since now I've been through nearly half my deck, excluding my prize cards obviously, so 27 plus 6 prize cards is 33, we've been through 27 cards, and we've only seen one single copy of Water Energy. How very amazing. Worse things have happened, stranger things have happened. Welcome to the world of Pokemon, where I can't seem to find a single energy. And my opponent, Professor's Researches away a lot of cards. Now, he does play Turbo Patch as well, so this is a Torkoal Flips to Hell deck with 4 Crushing Hammers and what I assume will eventually be 4 Turbo Patches. So we find ourselves a Professor's Research top deck, which is absolutely amazing. So we will finally find energy, with any luck. So we will grab a Crushing Hammer, and we will find our first Inteleon. In fact, I think we'll just go for Inteleon. No, we do need to go for this, because we do need a Pokemon, because I want to put the Giratina back, because we know he plays the Heat Energy. So we'll evolve this here. and we will find Pokecom and Quick Ball. So we'll Pokecom this back, get the Giratina back into the deck, which is what we want. We'll get a single copy of Jirachi, which we will Quick Ball away, because deck thinning is deck winning. And I suppose, no, we'll just grab the other Jirachi out of the deck, because we don't want it anymore, because we already have one in play, and one is certainly enough. We do hit another Crushing Hammer, which is good for us, of course. And I forgot to search my deck like I said I was going to do. But there are water energies in there, apparently, which is good to know, because it would have been an absolute impossible struggle if we could not have hit water energies at all. So if my opponent doesn't play Mallow and Lana, we have a Zigzagoon hit this, which he doesn't know I have the Zigzagoon in hand, so even if he does have the Mallow and Lana, he certainly may not play it. And I think we've gone equal on heads so far on the Crushing Hammers. I'm sure my opponent was really hoping to find a Welder there, but considering he discarded one with Research before, and he is going to use a Eldegoss for one, which is fine by me. And it is only another Welder for one. I don't know where my opponent's giant halves are, if I'm honest. There's one, finally. If you are interested in playing this deck yourself, I would probably recommend a single copy of Chaotic Swell. I don't know what to take out for it, but a single copy of Chaotic Swell would be extremely good in this deck. So Combustion Pillar for 180, but because we're hitting 120 each time, we will simply put this here. We will take our knockout on the bench. And find our other Inteleon, which is very good, and another Evolution Incense, which is also very good. Now, we could effectively play Team Yell Grunt and Hydro Snipe, and that would force him to have a Weld of 2 energy, plus putting an energy on top of his deck, which does have the giant half. So what is the right play? I feel like we should go here, search some trainer cards. We do have 4 water energy in the deck, so from drawing 5 cards we have a lot of opportunities to hit one, so I think we'll take this and this. But we have just attached, so the switch is actually very useless. I think taking another copy of Marnie would be fine, because I don't mind Marnie and a Marnie to the bottom of the deck, as we have higher access to research. And we will put this down, and we will Marnie. It does obviously allow my opponent to get even closer to his Welder. And we will simply Hydro Snipe. And we will put the energy back, just to be a nuisance. Because it does mean that he will still need to attach to this, as well as attach to a bench one, to be able to keep his momentum going. As you can see here, here's the Welder, which is what we wanted to see. Because now, next turn, provided he can't find a Cape of Toughness for this, we have attachment to this, Team Yell Grunt away the energy off the bench Torkoal that will be coming, and Hydro Snipe this for knockout. I feel like he may have made a mistake by double welder into this, or maybe he was hoping to find a heat energy. And even if he does find a heat energy, we can find Jirachi. We can send up Jirachi into the active, attach energy to this, Stellar Wish, see what we get. If nothing, switch into the Inteleon. There's a Cape of Toughness. And we do have another Scoop Up Net left. So we will go here because we know he would have no bench hitters at this rate, or at this point. And we will Marnie. Again, we have plenty of resources in the deck. And it does draw us more access to our water energy. And again, we will put one back. I think in that case we probably should have left it actually. I don't think I wanted to give him that fire energy back, so that was a misplay. My opponent is struggling to find another Torkoal, but there is an Incineroar. I imagine he'll attach to this, place one back on top of the deck with a Rangaroo and Combustion Pillar. I don't know why he's wasted his welder here. That's very bad in my opinion. I do see a heat energy on this. So now he's down 4 welders. So unless this man plays Pelpad, he cannot welder onto this next turn. He can't attack with this next turn, because I'm going to Yell Grunt at that as well. So, bad news all around from my opponent. So that's Hydro Snipe. And we're not going to give him the energy back. They can all go. Next turn we're going to make an attachment to this Inteleon. Because for some reason he promoted this rather than putting up one of these to take a hit. So I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Maybe he plays a second Eldegoss, who knows. So we see a Cape of Toughness, so he'll have to find a switch. I'm not fussed about the reset stamp, it really doesn't bother me. We have so many good cards left in our deck. Proof that we couldn't have really gone wrong there. And I'm wondering what my opponent is going to quick call for. Another Torkoal, so we did play another Torkoal, he was just taking a long time to find it. Very unfortunate for him, obviously. And he's going to Dedenne down to 2 cards. That doesn't seem like the play. That definitely doesn't seem like the play to me. He'll have to hit double heads on this to be able to do any damage, and he doesn't, so... I think that's a well played for my opponent, as he can't attack this turn. There's another well played, you have good deck. Because he has no chance to hit, and even if he did, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So my opponent now has 5 cards in hand, but it just doesn't matter because I could literally just Evolution Incense for a Drizzile grab a Team Yell Grunt and Hydro Snipe, and that'll be the concession. So firstly, we're going to attach to this. Secondly, we're going to find ourselves a Drizzile, make sure my opponent knows there is absolutely 0 chances of him winning this game, and we will Drizzile for a Yell Grunt, and we will Yell Grunt this, and Hydro Snipe this, and that is how you lock up any deck, even Energy Acceleration decks. Yell Grunt plus Hydro Snipe plus Crushing Hammers makes this quite the disruptive, disgusting deck. And my opponent determined to see it through, obviously, which is fine. Never ever quit a game if you feel like you have a chance, however slim that chance may be. But we have the Inteleon, we have Marnie as well, not that we're going to use it, we're just going to use Research, or grab Research. We don't need this Giratina anymore, that's all well and good. I'll just knife this back into his hand. And you just play it nice and slow, that's all you do with this deck. But don't need to go aggressive ever. And send my opponent the heart and Hydro Snipe for the game. So, you know, weakness at the end of the day, no matter how strong fire decks are, even with all the Crushing Hammers and Disruption from Torkoal, weakness will always be a thing in any card game. Well, in the Pokemon card game, will always be a thing. So that's it for these games, and I will be right back with the deck list. So, as I promised my viewers in the last video, some codes. We do have a Darkness Ablaze code right here, and if the camera will focus, there we go. A bit of focus from the camera never goes amiss. Doing it again. I will be getting a new camera one day, I promise. So hopefully you can see that and you can write it down and then see yourself a code. That's for Darkness Blaze, and we do have one for Rebel Clash as well. Stupid camera focus. So there's that. Now, codes aside, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you give it a good go. Disruptive decks, tempo decks, always good fun. Definitely worth trying out. Between Hydro Snipe, Crushing Hammers and Team Yell Grunt, a lot of people just tend to concede by the second Crushing Hammer combined with Hydro Snipe, because it's just so frustrating. Your opponent's obviously trying to attack to win the game, you're continually pushing energy back, so it's just not happening for them. It's as simple as that. If you can't attack, how are you meant to win in a deck that relies on attacking? That being said, this deck does struggle against mill decks and control decks and such like, so do pay careful attention to your resources and don't overextend your players. I say all these things, although it elongates the video. I don't want it to bore viewers. I just want it to, you know, tell my viewers the best way to actually play these sort of decks for those people that are new to sort of disruptive variants. So that's all for this video anyway. That's the whole deck list. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a go, like I said. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe. It will be a big help to myself and the channel. And I will see you all in 2021. Peace out, guys.